guest coming on now. Mark, you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
I'm not. I am, pal. How are you? Yeah. So welcome.
Thank you. It's taken just over an hour.
Well, technology these days, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
If you'd like to introduce yourself and tell everyone who you follow.
Yeah, I'm a United fan. Like almost everyone at the moment. Been a United fan all my life.
Yeah.
A bit like Tats.
Yeah. Are you coping in the coronavirus situation?
I mean, to be honest, I'm still working, so every day is normal to me at the moment. But yeah, it's a bit dire straits at the moment. I just want it to end, get back to football, get back playing, get back watching. We'll get there eventually.
Think the season will restart? You think?
I do and I don't. I think it'll restart, but I don't think it'll restart how we want it to restart. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Personally, I think if it can't come to a normal conclusion, it should be like a playoff. Top 6 in a playoff, or to be fair, top 7, take Liverpool out of it because they're that far clear. Is it wrong to deny them? As a United fan, I want to say, yeah, it's not wrong to deny them, but they need to win 2 games.
Yeah.
They might only need to win 1, depending upon other results around them.
Yeah.
Can you really take it off them? I mean, if they just give it to him, it's fine because they haven't really won it. So we can say that for the time being. But yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I hear people keep saying, we'll go into end of August, but then it's going to have an impact on next season. So what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I was under the thought process of get rid of the winter break. That's 2 weeks there. Get rid of the England internationals. I think there's one in September and one in November, if I'm right in thinking. So that's 4 weeks plus the winter break. That's 6 weeks there straight away. And obviously we're in 6 weeks lockdown now. So I mean, you could bust out 9 games in 6 weeks, possibly.
You could, yeah. I mean, yeah. Technically, you could, but then how? I mean, I know people are training at home, but you've played. A pre-season. You need a proper pre-season to be match fit. We've been locked down for 6 weeks. Yes, they're doing running and stuff at home, but to get sharpness, how many injuries might come in them 9 weeks if they're having to play 2 games a week?
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult.
Yeah. I ever since I read the story of the Dutch FA cancelling the season, it just every minute that goes by, it just makes more and more sense to do what they've done. And especially the fact I know it's below the National League, but all of those leagues have been cancelled, null and void. See you later, gone. Like Northern Counties League, it's on null and void. So yeah, as the hours go by, it makes more and more sense to cancel and avoid the league, especially with what we're in now. It's coming up to May, so I mean, fucking hell, it's the new season should technically start 4 months from today, and you're not going to fit the rest of the season in a pre-season, a transfer window. Yeah. And then obviously you've got. I mean, like I say, there's a lot of money in football, and the fact that teams these days have Far East Asia tours. They go to America for tours for the pre-season. That's bound to get cancelled, and that's obviously more sponsorship money down the drain. And I mean, what's your thoughts? There's too much money in football, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think the money side of it, because if it's null and void, you're then going to have how many lawyers and solicitors looking into regulations, laws, and should teams have been promoted, should teams have been relegated. I think it's opening up a massive can of worms as to where the football actually goes. I mean, if they do decide that they can do it legally and null and void it, what do you do with the top 6?
I mean, the Dutch have said, well, AZ Alkmaar are going to be in the Champions League. Yeah, I bet the third qualifying, the first qualifying round, and Ajax were in the third qualifying round. So, and then obviously you got teams below them which are only, I think PSV, I think are like 3-4 points behind the top two.
Yeah.
I think they've just gone and accepted it. They're going to be in the Europa League next season.
Yeah. I mean, would English fans do that? I don't think they would. I mean,
imagine Leeds not getting promoted.
Look at Sheffield United. Sheffield United have got 3 points. In fact, I think if they're maybe, I think I've not looked at the league because it's been that long, but I think they're maybe 2 points behind United. And if they win their game in hand, they go above us. We're 3 points behind Chelsea, so effectively we could overtake Chelsea. I think it's too difficult just to give it as it is. I mean,
you rightly say Sheffield United is 7th, 43 points. United in 5th, 45 points. Obviously, Wolves are on 43 points, 2 points behind United, same amount of games played. It's let's open up for a massive can of worms.
Yeah, like I say, do you just go, okay, Liverpool are going to give the league? Do you include City in a potential playoff? So go sort of 2 to 6 and go, okay, have a playoff, pick balls out of the hat like they do in the FA Cup, go from there. And then do you not relegate anyone? Do you automatically give Leeds and West Brom promotion and next year have 2 additional teams in the league? And the year after, 5 get relegated? Is that a possibility?
Question in on the chat. If the season was voided, can you actually see the league be ready to go in August and the fans being able to go to the matches?
No, I don't think fans will be able to go to matches. Which, does anybody want that? I think Tats touched on it before. Watching that last Glyn's game, it was just awful. I think we've seen international games behind closed doors. It is awful. It really is. Nobody wants it. I don't know how the players get up for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
The players go out waiting for the fans to cheer their name. Don't care what anyone says. When they go out on that pitch, they hear everybody. Without that, are you as motivated? I know 100 grand a week should motivate you, but sometimes it's more than just that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not a United fan, but I was watching the Europa League game, the last one that you played. I forget who you played. I can't probably pronounce the name, but Gallo scored that goal.
Last Glyn's in Austria.
Yeah. Gallo scored that goal, and it was obviously a great goal. But I'm watching it, I'm thinking, can't hear any fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was such a surreal watch. It was. I've never experienced anything like that before. So.
No, the only good thing is they're talking about giving us free games at 3:00 to watch all the games on TV. If that happens, at least you get to watch the games. But yeah, can you really play without fans?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think they can. I mean, personally, not speaking from anything apart from what I'm led to believe, I don't think lockdown's going to be done here until June the earliest. I think when they reevaluate it at the end of May, I think a lot of restrictions are still be in place. So you're looking at the beginning of June. And then realistically, for them to be allowed to play, you're probably looking mid to late June. You've only got July, really, to get it going.
Yeah. Gareth's come in and said, will we see a football match this year with fans?
Ooh, a good question. Yeah, I think we will. But I think you're looking late November, December, really. I don't think you get anything before that with fans. I don't. It's until. But then again, saying that, if we get to end of August and it goes, oh, we've had no deaths, no cases, no new cases, then I just think everyone will just go, well, stuff it. Let's get back to normality.
Charge to the pub, probably.
Yeah,
Jesus
exactly.
Christ. Unbelievable. I mean, I'm just I just imagine in my head the BBC News thing, the day that the restrictions are lifted and everyone charges to the pub, and it's just like,
it's going to be absolute madness. But that's the only good thing that's going to happen from this. When it all comes and lockdown's done, pubs are going to be rammed. People are going to be socialising more. The small businesses will probably get back on their feet.
Yeah.
I know it's tough now, but people are missing a little cafe, a little coffee shop. They're missing going to the pub, having a quick pint. So I think businesses like that will start thriving again, and I think people will appreciate them again more. I think we've become a bit too complacent with businesses, expecting all to be there, and now it's kind of shown this that actually we need them.
Yeah, it's a good shout. It's a good shout. I mean, Weatherspoons are still expanding though.
Yeah.
Everyone still loves a cheap pint. You know what I mean?
Well, you mentioned before, I think you were talking about the Halifax Headfleets game. It was like a burger and a pint for £6. I was thinking, you know what? They do that in Weatherspoons.
Yeah. Like I said, I was walking through the stand, looking at the sign, and I was just thinking, fucking hell, it's not a bad price. I mean, I've seen obviously. I think it was 2 items for £8 at Old Trafford, so it's not a million miles away. But obviously, with the league shut down and no fans going in there, it's taking massive revenue away from the lower league clubs, and it's just
completely. I mean, they literally do survive on, gates, people, sponsorships from local businesses. And like I say, the food and drink they sell, that's all they take. But I think Tats touched on it before about sort of League Two having 24 teams. He doesn't think they'll survive. I completely agree with him. I really can't see, unless there's an injection, unless they go, okay, this amount should have gone to the Premier League and the AFL. We're going to then drop it down a bit to the lower leagues, give them like an umbrella payment. That's the only way I can see it.
Yeah. I think there's too much money in the Premier League. Honestly, I mean, I'm saying this before. Like, in 5 years' time, the jump from the Championship to the Premier League, and then to survive in the Premier League, it's gonna be massive. I mean, you're gonna have clubs folding because obviously they're on the knees for debt, trying to get in the Premier League. You know what I mean? I mean, the £180 million Championship playoff final. That's going to be £250 million. It's going to be a £1 billion fuotball match in the next 10 years. I'm telling you now, £1 billion football match in the next 10 years.
I think you could be right.
It's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah. Obviously, I thought I was coming on a lot earlier, so I was going to try and touch on something Tats mentioned about the player cuts. Yeah. I completely agree with Tats. I don't think players should be taking cuts.
Okay.
They pay 43, 45% tax. He's right. That should go to local governments, NHS, things like that. And as stupid as it may sound, £1,000 to us is £100,000 to them. We go out and buy £1,000 car, they go out and buy £100,000 car. Because they've got it, they spend it. So them taking a 30% cut on top of what they would normally come out with, it's going to leave them, with debts. I know it sounds stupid, but how many players do you see retire and go, I've got no money? Because they gamble, they spend it. They get it in the pocket, they know they can spend it, they spend it. And then all of a sudden, say for example, I don't know, just who's on big bucks in the Premier League. Say Harry Maguire. He comes back, gets injured, does his leg, does his knee in, does his cruciate, something like that, has to retire. He's took a 30% pay cut for the last couple of months. That could effectively, I know people are going to think, what are you talking about? A 30% pay cut to them is like effectively like us getting like this 20% pay cut with the government.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of players' contracts, would it not be beneficial to introduce pay-to-play contracts? And then obviously if you got life insurance backing that up, if they have an injury while they're playing, then you've got a life insurance policy to back that up, and then obviously clubs can obviously match that. I'm just thinking because obviously you touched on obviously players being injured and out for quite a long time, and obviously it's going to be, you got to pay salaries and honour the contract while they're at the club. But if they broke a leg and they're away for 12 months, there's that revenue for the club that's obviously going to go to the player, and he's not even playing for the club. So is there a voice of introducing pay-to-play contracts, and then you can sort of lower the salary gap because they've got an insurance policy to back them up?
Personally,
no.
I don't think it is. No.
No.
You touched on it there. If you've got a player at the moment, they might be earning 300 grand a week. To do pay to play, they're going to have to earn double that. Because if they are injured, like McTominay's just been out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
8 weeks for no pay. 8 weeks with nothing. And how many insurance companies are going to cover you and pay you out for 8 weeks? That kind of money that they're on.
Yeah. Or introduce a contract where you're on full pay if you can legitimately play a game, even if you're on the bench. Or if you're injured, you go 50% cut. Or something like that, you know.
Again, could work. It could work.
I'm just trying to think of ways of lowering the player salaries, because you're talking fucking £350,000 a week.
And again, I'm going to get absolutely slated for this because I think they're worth it. So many people say, "Oh, they're not worth it," and this, that, and the other. You know, people go, "Oh, they get paid 350 grand a year," and I can't see any comments, so that's probably a good thing. People go, "Oh, they get paid 350 grand a year. NHS don't get that. NHS do this. NHS do that. Doctors do this." But that's their profession. They're skilled in that. You know, at 7-year-old, even at 4 or 5-year-old, you don't go, "I'm going to be a doctor." You don't go, "I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to dedicate hours upon hours upon hours training to be a doctor." You might decide you're going to be a doctor when you're 15, and then you might become a doctor when you're 30. So you've got 15 years of doing bits and bobs, your essays, your exams and stuff like that. Whereas as a footballer, you've got to be special at 5. And then you've got potentially 30 years of having to train. Even at 5, you've got to train at least once, maybe twice a day to make it and to be good. And to do that for 30 years, I think is more than worth what they get paid. It's not just 10 or 15 years career, it's their whole life that they have to give up to become a professional footballer. One in like 70 make it. If everyone could do it, then the wage budget would come down. Not everyone can do it.
Yeah. But then you've got like sponsorship deals thrown on top of that, and it's just it's fucking mental.
But again, would you pay as a company, if you give someone 150 million and globally you're going to make 3 times that, you'd do it, wouldn't
you? Yeah. It was, well, yeah, I suppose it was guaranteed. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to go. The money's just going to go up and up and up and up. Like I say, it's going to be astronomical soon, and I don't really think you can bring in a player wage cap either, because to do that, you'd have to do that worldwide.
Gareth put on UK people being furloughed on 80%, so why can't footballers take a 20% pay cut?
They could, but then effectively that becomes a 65% pay cut for them. Because do you really think they're going to Do you really think they're going to lower their 45% tax, 43% tax? So what effectively becomes 20% is to us is 65% to them. That's over half their wage each week paid out. So it's a difficult one. It's like Tat said before. What's worse, them keeping their full wage and paying the 43% tax on it that should go to the NHS and should go to local governments and things like that, or do we just take more off them? And I've noticed as well, it's always footballers that kind of get the bad end of it.
I was going to say a footballer's an easy target.
Yeah, of course they are. I mean, how much did I don't know, Steven Spielberg make last year?
Well, Steven Spielberg's worth $3 billion, by the way.
There you go. Is anyone going to him and saying, "Put your hand in your pocket"?
Well, yeah. I mean, Google as well, Starbucks, all the rest of them.
Yeah.
People that
all these big directors, all these big actors. You don't see, anybody criticizing them for not putting their hand in a pocket. It's always going, footballers get paid this much, we're going to target them. And I do think they're an easy target.
Because on the front page of magazines, run fucking news reports, fucking everywhere, aren't they? So
that's the problem. I mean, I would love I just love once somebody, just some random person who thinks it's easy to be a footballer, to go and spend 6 weeks pre-season, 8 weeks pre-season with a football team, doing their diet, doing the 2 sessions a day that they have, then having to go back for a third session to watch set pieces, to watch previous games, they hardly spend any time at home. And I know people go, oh, well, they get paid. Yeah, they get paid for it. But at the same time, what would you prefer? Be at home with your family or have £350,000 every week? You kind of want a bit of both, unless you're missing a bit of a bitch.
I hate that one. Gareth Spot, I agree with wages. Players have short careers and could be finished by injury. Okay.
That's what I mean. It's such a difficult one. It really is, And like I say, people don't really realise that they're like us. It's stupid it may sound. I know it's weekly, but they probably live week to week by pay packet. They go out because they've got the money. They go and spend 10 million on a house. That 10 million on a house is 150 grand to us.
Mm.
What happens when they stop playing football? Where's the money going to come from?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could think of there's like of all the footballers that retire during the season, you're probably thinking. In fact, the amount of footballers that have retired in the last 30 years, you probably say 0.5% of them have come into like media, like pundits and stuff like that, and all the rest of like working and on the kids programs at clubs and earning like £2,000 a week. It's like £2,000 a week or something daft like that, wasn't it? So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you're saying.
I mean, how many players have come out of the game and gone bust, whether it be for having gambling addiction or having alcohol? You've got, I think the most recent has been in the papers like Michael Chopra. You've got Ruddock who came out, went bust.
Paul Merson.
Yeah, Paul Merson went bust. It happens to everyone. And all it takes is them not having 10% of what they usually have to go, shit, what am I doing? Because you have, in your head, you've got a certain amount to spend. They'll spend it.
Yeah.
It's just a way of life.
Yeah. I suppose it's just easy targets, isn't it, really?
Yeah, completely. Totally always easy targets. Anything that happens, it's always football should do this, football should do that. But what people don't know is what's not in the media. Like clubs are probably donating to charity. Every member of a club is probably donating to charity. But papers don't know that because not everybody wants to know. All the papers want to know is what's going to sell paper. If you go, 40 teams in the leagues have got 60 players on the payroll, they're all donating 10 grand each to charities. It's not going to sell papers, is it? That's all it is at the end of the day.
Yeah. Fucking hell. But bad news is good news, isn't it, really?
Well, exactly.
All right. Well, 6:30. So I thought I was going to get on till 8:00, but it's not looking like it. To be fair, a couple of people have can't make it now, so I might have to end the stream soon. Unfortunately,
that's a shame.
Well, I'm thinking I'll keep the Just Giving page going for a week because I think I'll be doing more videos this week anyway. So yeah, I'll have a think and give you a shout. I'll do
if I can get
on your opinions.
I'm always available for an opinion.
Okay.
Whether people like it or not, I'll give one.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Have you got anything to say about the coronavirus to everybody watching?
I just think people need to stop being knobheads. You've been told to stay at home. Stay at home. Yeah, it's shit, but at the end of the day, you stay home, it's going to get done quicker, innit? Don't think, it's sunny, I'm going to go into the park and have a barbecue. You can have that in 2 or 3 months' time. It doesn't need to happen now.
Yeah.
They're getting on my nerves, people like
that. No worries, pal. I appreciate your time and thanks for coming on.
Yep, anytime. You know where I am.
Cheers, Goody, man. Thanks,
Take
pal.
care, safe, mate. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.